Right now, in the South Bay commercial real estate market, capital and interest rates aren't the primary obstacles to closing deals. The real bottleneck is a lack of inventory. This view of the South Bay Harbor highlights the area's deep geographic roots. The prime warehouses and retail blocks here are often held by legacy owners who have maintained their positions for decades. These owners are frequently contacted by junior brokers reading from the same script, resulting in 5 to 10 unsolicited sales calls every week. To someone who spent a career building a business here, a broker calling for a listing isn't an advisor. They see a shark circling their life's work. For owners with high equity and deep local ties, the traditional cold calling system has reached a point of total diminishing returns. They value professional respect over a quick transaction. Edwin Duterte, an expert at Voxel Micro Video Labs, observed this systemic friction and developed a media-driven method to bypass it. His strategy centers on a pattern interrupt, delivering a request so different from a sales pitch that it bypasses the owner's immediate impulse to hang up. Instead of asking to sell a property like this mid-century warehouse, the broker assumes the role of a local historian. You contact the owner to ask if they will help document the history of the South Bay's industrial boom. The script invites them to appear on a show called Legends of South Bay Business. You aren't pitching a sale, you're asking to capture their story for the community archives. By leading with a request to validate their legacy, you open a dialogue that aggressive sales tactics have spent years making impossible. The success of this strategy depends on moving the conversation out of the owner's office and into a neutral, professional environment. This can be mapped using a trust thermometer. A standard cold call starts the relationship at frozen, where owner resistance is at its peak. Moving the owner into a professional media interview shifts that temperature toward hot, establishing a collaborative tone for the first time. The studio environment removes the typical power struggle of a sales meeting. In this neutral space, the broker acts as a host, providing a high-value service, and the owner becomes the honored guest. This change in physical setting shifts the interaction away from a defensive negotiation and establishes a cooperative baseline before business is ever mentioned. To make this work, you need the right operational infrastructure, such as the studio at Voxel Micro Video Labs in San Pedro. The presence of 4K cameras, high-end professional lighting, and thick soundproofing walls signals that the project is a serious production. When an owner sees this level of production, they feel that their personal history is being treated with the importance it deserves. By the time the session ends, you transitioned from an anonymous caller to a trusted acquaintance who has provided them with a high-quality asset for their family archives. In high-stakes real estate, the production quality of your content serves as a proxy for the quality and competence of your business. This is a long-term relationship strategy. You don't ask for the listing the moment the lights go down. There is an incubation period, often lasting 6 to 12 months, where the trust you built in the studio remains a reference point for the owner. Eventually, a trigger occurs. Perhaps a tenant issue becomes too much to manage, or a trust situation requires a sale. When that happens, the owner is less likely to call a stranger who cold called them yesterday. They reach out to the professional who took an interest in their story. By investing time in a media asset today, you position yourself as the first and only call the owner makes when they are finally ready to sell. This strategy creates a massive advantage across 3 tiers. First, you hear about the property before the owner talks to anyone else, potentially securing the listing before it reaches public databases. Second, because you've established trust, there is less friction regarding price and fees. You aren't competing with 50 other generalists who are forced to discount their commissions. Finally, since you control the off-market relationship, you can bring your own proprietary buyer to the table, creating the opportunity to represent both sides of the transaction. The commercial real estate industry is moving away from the phone and the Rolodex. Success now requires a camera and a microphone to maintain the human connections that data alone cannot replicate. Adopting the Trojan horse strategy at a professional studio is a practical way to bypass market friction and secure a position of strength in the off-market landscape.